Okay, here in your main O-level paper, you have two parts. No, it's a 5 hours paper. You will get 2 hours for the first paper, part one paper. In part one paper, you have 25 short questions and 5 structured essay questions. Okay, and in part one, you will get maximum of 8 geometry questions in short questions. You will not get any structured essay questions. If you take part two paper, it will be a 3 hours paper, and they will give you 10 minutes additional reading time to go through the paper and select easy questions. I mean, prioritize the question order according to your convenience. To do those things, they will give you additional 10 minutes. Okay, additional 10 minutes. So you can utilize that time to start writing answers, or as you can go through the paper and select questions. I advise you to take 2 to 3 minutes from that 10 minutes and just prioritize the questions. Prioritize means the way you are going to start writing. You don't have to start from the very first question. You can start from constructions. Whatever the question that is easy for you, start from that question. So like that, prioritize all 10 questions and start writing answers. Okay, start writing answers. Right. Listen very carefully. In your part one paper, structured short questions paper, there are 3 types of algebra questions that they can give you. Mainly, basically, okay, basically there are 3 question types from algebra. First one is to simplify. Simplify whatever the expression given, whatever the algebraic expression given, you have to write it in simplest format. You have to write that in simplest format. This can be achieved by doing normal simplification, or else by doing factorization. By doing factorization also you can do this. Okay, so factorization will be the second question type. Next one will be solve. Okay, I have seen that there are some students having trouble with understanding the variation or the contrast between these two question types. Guys, simplify means you just have to write the expression in simplest format. When you solve the question, you just have to find the value of the unknown term. For an example, if you have x minus 3 equals to 5 or something, let's say this is a linear equation. Okay, there's a linear equation. If they want you to solve this, if the question is to solve, definitely remember, if the question is to solve, there will be an equal sign in the given question. If it is to solve, there will be an equal sign. If it is to simplify or factorize, you can notice that in the question equal sign won't be there. If you can't keep the idea in your mind, what is the contrast between the simplify and solve parts? Remember, solve means you have to find the value of unknown term. In this case, unknown term is x. Find the value of this unknown term x. Simplify means you just have to keep it in simplest format. That can be achieved using factorization option, factorization method also. Right. This first question is related to that. Factorize. Factorize. How to do the factorization here? Right. First of all, before you do the factorization, we can see if I remove the brackets, some terms we can exclude, some terms we can terminate from this given expression. Here, can you see p square minus 6x plus 6 and plus x is here. Plus into plus equals to plus. Always remember, when you remove the brackets, please be very conscious about the signs. Okay, if you make any errors in the signs, guys, then you will not get the correct answer. Here, plus into plus equals to plus, 6 into x, 6x. Plus into minus equals to minus, 6 into 6. If you want, you can write it as 36, but I'm going to write it as 6 square. If you want, you can write it as 36. No issues with that. Okay, no issues with that, but I am writing it as 6 square. Now I can see minus 6x plus 6x. I can cancel. So we have p square minus 6 square. P square minus 6 square. What is this form? This is in the form of a difference of 2 squares. In the form of a difference of 2 squares. Right, here comes the note. These are not answers, these are just notes. Huh? I will write that on the black screen. So important notes, I will write that here. Okay. If something is in the form of difference of two squares, let's say a perfect square minus a perfect square, this is the way to factorize it. If anyone can't remember this is the last time to learn that. Huh? Definitely there will be two brackets. Definitely there will be two brackets. The term which has the positive sign will be the positive value in both the brackets. The term which is having the positive sign will be the positive value in both the brackets. You have to forget about the square and you just have to write x here. The term x square having the plus value, which means x will be the plus value in both brackets. The term which has the negative sign will be negative in one bracket, positive in another bracket. So this is the pattern. So if we apply that pattern here, definitely there will be two brackets. P square is having the positive sign. There will be, therefore, P will be the positive value in both the brackets. 6 square having the negative sign, it will be negative in one bracket, positive in another bracket. Some people might ask me, sir, can't we write it as P plus 6 into P minus 6? Is it wrong? No, it is not wrong. It is 100% correct. Always remember, bracket means a multiplication. So multiplication, let's say you have 2 into 3. The same answer you will get when you multiply 3 into 2. So P plus 6 is something like this entire 2, this complete 2. This entire P plus 6 is a family. So you can consider that one as a term. It's actually not a term, it's an expression, but you can assume that as a term. So this one, if you assume that as a term, it's just a multiplication, it's just a product. In a product, you can swap the values and you can take the same product again. Okay. So writing that in this way is not wrong. Okay. Right. Good. So I'm receiving answers from students. If anyone completed before me, if possible, send me the answers. I can see one student send me answers. You also can try to send me. Right. So next one is the next type, guys, simplification. I don't have enough space here, so I will go to this black screen and write that down. If you can't see my screen, please do let me know. X square minus 7x plus 12 divided by x square minus 4. Again, divided by x minus 3 over x minus 4. Right. This is an algebraic fraction. After division sign, on right hand side also you have an algebraic fraction. When you solve algebraic fractions, listen carefully. Very first thing that you have to do is to check whether the given expressions are factorized or not. If it is not factorized, factorized means if it is not simplified, okay? If it is not factorized, you have to factorize it and then only you have to do the algebraic fraction simplification. So in the given space, you can't do the factorization and simplification both. So take a rough paper and do the factorization separately and take the factors and write it here. So x square minus 7x plus 12. This is a trinomial. Trinomial means an expression with 3 terms. This is a trinomial quadratic expression. Why we give that special word quadratic here? Because we have a square term here. That's why we give that quadratic word. Right. X square minus 7x plus 12. If you factorize this, okay, I'm not going to revise the factorization steps for this one, guys. If I revise that, it will take some time. So moving forward, if we get another question, in that question, I will revise you the factorization steps for this one. Okay, right. X square minus 7x plus 12, when you factorize it, the factors will be x minus 4 into x minus 3. Then this x square minus 4 is still not factorized. X square minus 4 means x square, a perfect square, minus 4 is a perfect square. We can write it as 2 square. When you factorize it, you will get x minus 2. We just revised you that part in our first question, how to factorize if you get an expression in the form of a difference of 2 squares. This is the way to factorize it. Now, Write these factors instead of these expressions in the given question over x minus 2 into x plus 2. Listen carefully. When you write this division sign as a multiplication sign, you have to take the reciprocal of the right hand side. So it will be x minus 4 over x minus 3. Right. So listen very carefully. There are some students still make these errors. This entire x minus 3 bracket can be simplified with this entire x minus 3 bracket. Okay. This entire x minus 3 bracket can be simplified with this entire x minus 3 bracket. Do not simplify this x with this x. Do not do anything like that, guys, because it is not a multiplication. Inside the bracket, we have an expression, a family. In mathematics, an expression means a family. Yeah? You cannot think about family members separately. It's something like, if you pull this 2 with 2, you are going to get this x also. If you pull that 2 with 2, automatically this x also will come. Okay, you cannot think about x without 2. You cannot think about 2 without this x. If you take this bracket, it's a one single family. So you cannot cut this x with any of the x's in the numerator. Okay, if you want to remove this x plus 2, then definitely you should have the same x plus 2 completely in the numerator also. If not, your simplification is, you cannot simplify. So in this case, we can do the simplification. We can do a such simplification only for x minus 3 because we have x minus 3 in the numerator and the denominator. That's the only simplification we can do. So the final answer will be x minus 4 into x minus 4 divided by x minus 2 into x plus 2. Okay, some students might ask me, can't we remove the brackets and keep the answer? Can, but that's not the simplest format of your answer. Why you all are making yourself complex and why you all are taking much time to do that? It's not required. Okay, my advice is, when you get the final answer, if it is in factorized format, keep it. Keep it. You don't have to remove the brackets. In mathematics, usually we keep the final answer in its simplest format. We usually keep the final answer in its simplest format. So you keep the answer like this. You don't have to do any other modifications or any other simplifications for this, right? This one is x plus 4. The question? Yeah, no? Sorry, I made a mistake. So this one is x plus 4. Huh? So here in the numerator, you will get x minus 4 into x plus 4. Right. Okay, thank you for showing me that. Now we'll move to the next question. Okay. Okay, right. Earlier, I made a mistake. Instead of writing x plus 4, I wrote x minus 4. One student was asking, sir, if we have x minus 4 into x minus 4, can't we write it as x minus 4 square? Can. That's okay. X minus 4 into x plus 4, we can't write it as x plus 4 square, okay? This is wrong. Because if you want to write it in its initial format, then it will be x square minus 4 square. But I don't recommend you all to do that. Just keep it as factors. You don't have to think about it, okay? Because they don't expect that from you. Okay, right. So the next question. This one is also related to algebra part only. Okay, algebra part only. Listen very carefully. Yeah, they want us to find. This is another type, guys. I told you there are 3 types of algebra questions: simplify, solve, and factorize. This one also will falls under solve part. Okay, sometimes they might give you to find the value of the unknown term or is an unknown expression like this. Here, you don't have to find the value of t. You have to directly find the value of t square plus 1 over t square. When you get a question like this, observe the pattern here. This is the given data, t plus 1 over t. And you can see in our final target, this t squared here 1 over t, the square value is given here. You can get a similar pattern. You can get a similar pattern when you take the square of a binomial expression. What is the square of a binomial expression? If you, let's say you have x plus a square, this is a binomial expression, you are going to take square of it. So how to expand this? First term square, first term is x, x square. Keep a small space, definitely a plus. Second term square, second term is a square. How to obtain the middle term? Plus into plus equals to plus x into a, xa, 2 times of it, 2xa or as 2ax. How to obtain the middle term? Plus into plus equals to plus x into a equals to xa. I can write it as ax also because it's a product. To obtain the middle term, you have to take the 2 times of that product. So 2 times ax. So this is the pattern. So if I apply that to this, 1 t plus 1 over t is equals to 2. I'm going to square both sides of the equation. So if I square both sides, what you will get? First term is t square. Keep a small space, definitely a plus. Second term is 1 over t, second term square. This entire 1 over t is square. How to obtain the middle term? Plus into plus equals to plus t into 1 over t, 2 times of it, which means 2 times t into 1 over t. This equals to, on this side you have 4. Now do the simplification. Here, this t and this t I can cancel. So we will get t square 1 over t here. Listen now. 1 over t, this entire thing is square. This means actually 1 over t multiplied by 1 over t. 1 into 1 equals to 1. Denominator t into t equals to t square. So this one, when you simplify, you're getting 1 over t square. Here I have only 2. T cancelled, no? So 2 into 1, only 2. So you have this plus 2. I'm taking that plus 2 to the other side, become minus 2. So 4 minus 2. So answer for t square plus 1 over t square is equals to 2. This is how you have to do it. You don't have to find the value of t separately. You just have to directly get the value of this entire expression, and it is equals to 2. It is equals to 2. So keep that method in your mind, guys. This pattern here, an expression given, that one squared values answer, they are asking the sum of those squared values. Okay. In order to get that, you can use the pattern of a square of a binomial expression. Right. Okay. Right. If you have any doubts, guys, please feel free to drop that in the chat box, or else you can raise your hands and then you can unmute your mic. Okay. Right. The next one. Next question is from matrices. Right. And guys, don't worry about this. I think it's getting recorded. I don't know how to get that, but I think it will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. So if you missed any working, so you can go through the recording and do the works. However, after the session, the marking scheme will be shared with you in that group for this paper. Answers will be shared in the group by the end of the day. So your target should be, when I'm discussing, while listening, if possible, take a note. Okay, while listening, if possible, take a note. Write the answers. If you miss something, don't worry about it. The answer script will be shared with you. Okay, by the end of the day today, you will get that. Okay, here why discussion is important? Listening. Okay, just because you wrote something, that won't revise you the theories, or that won't help you to solve the question. In discussion, your target should be listening and understanding to solve the question, or pave the path to solve the question. That should be our ultimate target. Ultimate target when you are joining a live session. Okay. So if possible, take a note with me. Right. Since one student requested me to give this one, show this one, I showed it to you. If you all are taking time, if you all are slow writers, you can take a screenshot and keep it with you. Okay, for the answers. Right. Now, next question is related to matrices. Guys, they want us to find the product of these two matrices here, 1 minus 3 and -1 2 -1 1. There are two matrices A and B. They want us to find the product AB, value of AB. So A, B value we need to find. So A matrix will be the first matrix. B will be the second matrix. So when you take the product of matrices, here this is the first matrix, 1 minus 3. This is the second matrix, -1, -1, 2, 1. So here we can see A matrix has 1 row and 2 columns. The vertical lines will be rows. The horizontal lines will be rows. The vertical lines will be columns. Okay, we have only one horizontal section, so it will be on. It has only 1 row and 2 columns. First of all, you have to write the rows and then columns. RC. Okay, rows and columns. Here we have 2 rows and 2 columns. 2 rows and 2 columns. What is the requirement in order to multiply 2 matrices, in order to get the product of 2 matrices? You have to check here in this order. In the product order, we can see A is the first matrix, B is the second matrix. In that case, you have to check for A's number of columns. If it is equals to the number of rows in the second matrix, then it is possible to take the product. Here, number of columns in the first matrix must be equals to number of rows in the second matrix. Then we can take the product AB. So we have 1 minus 3 first matrix, -1 2 -1 1 a second matrix. Now you know how to identify the whether it's possible to multiply or not. Kiela, listen. Now how to do the multiplication? If you want to do the multiplication, remember RC, which means rows into columns. Rows of the first matrix multiplied by the columns of the second matrix. So here we have only 1 row. No? So this is how you will get matrices written inside brackets. First term with this row with the first column here. Okay. First term with the first term, +1 into -1 will give you -1. Second term with the second term, -3 into -1 will give you +3. Right? We're done with that. Then this one, now our work, this row and this column, our work is done. This row and this second column. +1 into +2 will give you +2. -3 into +1 will give you -3. So when you simplify, that's it. We don't have any other rows, no? So that's it. So your final answer will be -1 + 3 will add up to +2. +2 minus 3 will add up to -1. So 2 minus 1 is the final answer. 2 minus 1. Okay. I'm receiving correct answers from the students. Good. One student is asking, so if the R and C aren't equal to that order, how we can solve? If it is not in that order, then let's say you have one matrix here. Okay. There's a matrix with the order 2 into 3. There's another matrix in the order 2 into 1. So here number of rows, number of columns in the first matrix is not equals to, if you want to take the product of these two, number of columns in the first matrix is not equals to number of rows in the second matrix. Then this product does not exist. We cannot take the product. Does not exist. Okay. If it is equal only, you can take the product. If it is not equal, then don't think about it. You cannot multiply. Okay. Right. So we'll move to the next question. Right. Here, this one is very easy. This one is very, very easy. If you can, not only if you can, it's definitely it's easy. Okay. They just want us to shade this region, but you can make, you can solve that more quickly if you know this relationship. If you want, you can take this note. In your syllabus, in your O-level syllabus, they do not explicitly mentioned this one. They haven't explicitly mentioned this name. Okay, but still in the exercises, they have given this idea. What is it? If you have two sets like this, A and B, let's say you have to take A complement intersection B complement. It is exactly equals to A union B's total complement. Keep this relationship in your mind. The next one is A complement union B complement can be written as A intersection B's complement. So keep this idea in your mind. Now what we have here? A set, B set, universal set. Set A, set B, and here we have the universal set. They want us to highlight the region which belongs to A complement intersection B complement. We know that this one is exactly equals to this, no? That's a result. Keep that in your mind. Without that result also you can take. I'm not saying no. Okay, I'm not saying no, but you better take that like this. I mean, if you take it like this, you can easily simplify it. Here, A union B means the total elements, or as all the elements in set A and set B. All the elements in set A and set B, which means that considering this circle and this circle, A union B means this one, no? Yeah. A union B means these two circles. But we need A union B complement. Complement means outside of it, not A union B. Complement means outside of it. Outside of the circle means this area. So this is what they wanted us to shade. You can get the same answer without knowing this one also. You can get the same answer, but at that time you have to highlight the region which belongs to A complement and the region which belongs to B complement and take the intersection point of them. That way also possible. Okay, that way also you can simplify. But if you can remember this result, okay, then you can easily do that. Okay, there's a special name we can give to this result. We call that De Morgan's law. Okay, De Morgan's law. That De Morgan's law in a word is not there in your syllabus. I mean, in your O-level math syllabus. Okay, in your O-level math syllabus, it's not. It's haven't mentioned. But in teacher's guide, they have. They didn't mention the name there also, but they have advised us to teach this. Okay, so please remember this one. Right, this is the region that you have to highlight. Next question. Right, to solve the question number 6, you can use the formula, or else you can use the logical thinking also. If you use the formula also, you can get the answer. If you logically think and get it, that's also possible. Okay. Sir, please shade the region A intersection B complement. Oh, so you're asking this one. Okay, one student is requesting to highlight this one. Okay, so let's say this is your set. This is set A. This is set B. Okay, I am going to highlight A intersection B, the entire thing's complement. What is A intersection B? First of all, forget about complement. Think about A intersection B. What is A intersection B? This one, no? Here. This is A intersection B, the common region for A and B. A intersection B complement means without that region, they want us to take all the other sections, which means you just have to highlight without this common region, you have to highlight all the other sections. This is A intersection B, entire things complement. Okay, right. The next question. A car travels at a constant speed of 8 kilometers per hour for 3 hours. So if you can summarize this, okay, it will be easy for you to simplify. Here, 8 kilometers per hour, which means for 1 hour, the first situation, 80 kilometers per hour speed means what? If you spend 1 hour, you can travel 8 kilometers. If you spend 1 hour, you can travel 80 kilometers. In this speed, they are going 3 hours. So what is the distance traveled? 1 hour to 80 kilometers. Now, 1 toffee is equals to 80 rupees now. If you want to buy 3 toffees, you have to multiply this 80 kilometers by 3. So this is the total distance traveled within first 3 hours. Now what they are saying, they stopped to refuel for 20 minutes. They stopped. No speed. No speed means no speed means 0 kilometers per hour. No speed means no distance traveled. So then again, what they are saying, they traveled at a constant speed of 100 kilometers per hour for 2 hours. 100 kilometers per hour. Which means if you spend 1 hour, you can travel 100 kilometers. They are spending 2 hours, which means 200 kilometers. So within first 3 hours, 240 kilometers. Within last 2 hours, 200 kilometers. The total distance traveled will be 240 plus 200, 440 kilometers. So in exam, just summarize it and take the answer. You don't have to use it's not compulsory to use the formula. If you want, you can use the formula speed equals to distance divided by time formula. So you can use. Okay, that's totally fine. Good. Right. The next question related to straight lines. I'm going to give you one important note on that. So don't lose the focus. Keep your pens away and listen carefully. Yeah? Right. Related to straight lines in your main O-level paper, they can give you 2 types of questions. They won't give you both the questions at once. Okay. These are the 2 types that they can give you. They can draw the graph. I will use the whiteboard screen. Whiteboard screen is not working. Right. Okay. Here it's there. Right. Listen carefully. Yeah. These are the 2 types that they can give you. They might give you the graph. Okay. Like this. They can plot the graph, a sketch of the graph. This is the Cartesian plane X and Y axis. So they can plot the straight line segment like this. Right. And they can give you these coordinates. Okay. And they can give you these coordinates here. These intersection points, Y coordinate and X coordinate separately. X coordinate is definitely 0. This Y coordinate 2 or something they will give you. And then here they will give you the coordinate. Here we have 3. Here we have 2 again. They will give you coordinates. So they will give you the coordinates and they want you to write the equation of this straight line segment. Find the equation of this straight line segment. They can give you a question like that. In that case, always remember, if they want you to find the equation of a straight line, the equation of the straight line should be written in the form of y equals mx plus c. This is the form. What is m? M means the coefficient of x term. It denotes the gradient of the straight line segment. C is the intercept of the straight line segment. Straight line or the straight line graph. What is intercept? What is intercept? Intercept means, listen very carefully. Listen to my words very carefully. I'm not going to write that on the screen. Listen to my words very carefully. Intercept of a straight line segment means the y coordinate of the intersection point. Y coordinate of the intersection point of the graph or of the straight line segment and the y-axis, which means they are talking about, in this case, they are talking about these 2. Y coordinate of this intersection point. This is the intersection point of graph and the y-axis. No, y coordinate of the intersection point of graph and the y-axis will be the intercept. So they directly, in this case, c is equals to 2. Then you can calculate the gradient by taking these coordinates here. X coordinate is 0, y coordinate is 2. In this point, x coordinate is 2, y coordinate is 3. So you can take the ratio between the difference of y coordinates and difference of x coordinates to calculate the gradient. So if you get a graph, this is how you have to find the gradient and the intercept. So in this case, what is the gradient? Gradient is equals to difference of y coordinates 3 minus 2 divided by difference of x coordinates 2 minus 0, which is equals to 3 minus 2 equals to 1, 2 minus 0 equals to 2, half. You can keep it as half, or else you can convert it to 0.5. Whatever the way you prefer, you can keep it. I'm going to write it in this form, equation in this format. Y equals to m, the gradient value we calculate at half x. C's value is equals to 2 plus 2. So this is how you have to write the equation of a straight line if it is given, if the graph is given. What if the coordinates, just the coordinates are given? What if just the coordinates are given like this? Listen carefully. Here, can you see? You can easily identify here. Can you see that? You can easily identify the intercept value by observing the coordinate here. Intercept value can be identified by observing this coordinate. What is that? X coordinate is 0, Y coordinate has a value. If you have two coordinates given, and if X coordinate is 0 and Y coordinate has a value, then definitely this one is the intercept. This 4 is the intercept, which means C is directly equals to this 4. Okay, C is directly equals to this 4. If you want to calculate the gradient, gradient denotes by m. In exam, they might give you some other letter also. But remember, the gradient is the coefficient of x term. Right. How to calculate the gradient? Difference of x coordinates here. Sorry, difference of y coordinates. Y coordinate is 6, y coordinate is 4, 6 minus 4. Divided by difference of x coordinates, 2 minus 0. 6 minus 4 equals to 2, 2 minus 0 equals to 2, 2 divided by 2 equals to 1. So we have calculated the value of m, calculated the value of c. So you can write the equation of the straight line segment in the form of y equals mx plus c. Y equals m's value is equals to 1, 1x. We usually don't write that one. You can directly write x. C's value is equals to 4 plus 4. So y equals to x plus 4 is the equation. That's it. Okay. All right. So guys, time to time drink some water and listen to the discussion now, because continuously without drinking some water, if you listen, you will feel tired and you will try to give up. Okay, your brain will say, brain will tell you to give up. So every 30 minutes drink some water, not a gallon ganam bondepa. Just drink 1 or 2 sips of water, take a deep breath, and then again listen. So it will help you to keep your mind active, keep your brain active. Okay, right. Okay, right. Question number 8. The following are the scores of 10 students in a math test. Find the median of the scores using quartiles. Right. So median can be calculated using using 2 methods. The general way, you can cut the numbers from the start and beginning and the end, and then you can catch the values in the middle. You can take the average of it. That way also you can do it. Here they have specifically mentioned you have to calculate the median using the knowledge of quartiles. So if you want to use the knowledge of quartiles or whatever the way you are doing, first of all, you have to write these numbers in ascending order from the smallest to biggest. So we can see 78 is the smallest number. Start writing with that. 78. If I miss something, tell me. 78, and then we have 82, and then 84, and then 86. 78, 82, 84, 86. 82, 84, 86. And then we have 88, 90, 92, 94, 96, 98. 92, 94, 96, 98. So you are going to write all the values in given ascending order. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. Now, what is the theorem, or what is the theory knowledge that they are trying to evaluate here? What is the theory that they're trying to evaluate here? Listen carefully. Median of a number sequence is equals to second quartile. Median of a number sequence is equals to second quartile. So how to calculate the second quartile here? Listen very carefully. First of all, you have to calculate the second quartile position. The where you can identify the second quartile. Second quartile position, if you want to calculate it, this is a formula. Those are quartiles, no? 2 over 4. If it is first quartile, it will be 1 over 4. If it is third quartile, it will be 3 over 4. Since it is second quartile, it will be 2 over 4. Multiplied by number of, how many numbers are there in the given number sequence? In this case, it's 10 plus 1. So 2 over 4 means half. 10 plus 1 equals to 11. Half into 11 will give you 5.5. Okay, what is 5.5 means what? 5 positions plus another 0.5 position. Remember that. Which means from the beginning, from the start of the number sequence, first of all, count this 5. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the number in 5th position. And take the number in 6th position also. Right. So you have to go 5.5, not till 6, right? Which means you have to take the value in the middle position here. Listen carefully. This is how you have to calculate the second quartile if you get something like this. You already passed the 5th position. Take the value in that position plus, listen carefully, this is the way. Take the value in that position plus the gap between those two, now gap between the given two numbers, 90 minus 88. 90 minus 88. This gap between these two numbers, 6th position and the 5th position number, 90 minus 88, multiplied by gap between the numbers multiplied by the distance you should go, which is 0.5. You already traveled 5 numbers distance, right? Which means you have this number here. So work with this 5 is done. Still, I didn't use this 0.5. How to use it? Take the difference between these two numbers, number in 6th position and 5th position. Difference is 90 minus 88 is equals to 2. Multiply that gap with the position that you have to travel more, 0.5. Multiply that with 0.5. So 90 minus 88 will give you 2. 2 multiplied by 0.5 is equals to 1. So 88 plus 1 is equals to 89. So this is the second quartile, which is median. Second quartile is equals to median. So this is how you have to calculate it in exam paper. Writing the answer in ascending order, you will get 1 mark. Finding the quartile, you will get 1 mark, because without writing the answer in without writing the number sequence in ascending order, you will not be able to calculate the quartiles. Okay, so for that they will allocate 1 mark. Right. There's a similar question in 2021 paper also. And my advice, guys, please go through the 2018, 19, 20, and 21 paper. Do those papers before you go to the exam at least one time. Complete that paper. Okay. Right. And one student is asking, sir, can we add 88 and 88 plus 90 and divide it by 2? So it is 89. No, yes, of course. I told you it is okay. But in the question, they want us to use the knowledge of quartiles. Then one student is saying, take in the middle two numbers. If you write it in ascending order, then middle two numbers will be 88 and 90. 88 and 90, adding that and dividing by 2 also will give you the value 89, the median. Correct. But in this question, if you do it in that way, you will lose marks. You will not get any marks. Why? In the question, they advise you all to find the value using quartiles. Using quartiles. So the method they have suggested, you have to use that method only, then only you will get total marks. Hope it's clear. Right. Question number 9. Arman deposited 1,000 rupees in a bank account that pays a 12% annual interest rate. If the interest is compounded every 6 months, what is the total amount that Arman receives after 1 year? So this is related to compound interest. Compound interest, and they want us to directly find the value at the end of 1 year. Annual interest rate is 12%. Annual means for 12 months. For 12 months. The interest is calculated for every 6 months, which means 1 year consists of 2 6 months portions. For the first 6 months, the interest rate will be half of this. For the second 6 months, the interest rate will be half of this. Why 12% is for the entire year? No? 12% is for the entire year. If it is for the entire year, for first 6 months, the rate will be exactly half of it. For the second 6 months, rate will be exactly half of it. Which means 6% is the interest percentage for the 6 months. For 6 months. So you can solve this question in 2 ways. I am going to solve the question in one single step. Listen very carefully. They want us to find the total amount at the end of the year. So if you want to find the total amount, this is the initial amount that he deposited, right? Deposited 1,000 rupees. If you just multiply that with this 6%, it will give you the interest. But if you multiply that with 106 over 100, this will give you the total amount at the end of first 6 months. This is compound interest. So you have to, if you want to calculate the total amount at the end of the second 6 months, then you can directly multiply this with the same ratio again. If it is for three 6 month portions, then you can multiply with the same ratio 3 times. If it is for 2 years now, you have 4 6 months portion, you can multiply with the same ratio for 4 times. Okay, since it is 2 6 months portions, you can directly multiply with this ratio 2 times. So if you simplify this, you will get the answer rupees 1,123 and 60 cents. 1,123 rupees and 60 cents. How 106 comes? That guys, this is a theory part. If I revise you the theory part, the whole day I have to take for that. Right. I will give you concise idea concise like this. What is the meaning of 6%? 6% means for 100 rupees, interest will be 6 rupees. That's the meaning, right? Listen carefully. Huh? For 100 rupees, interest will be 6 rupees, which means you have to pay how much? For 100 rupees loan, you should pay 6 rupees interest. So when you're paying, you should pay this 100 rupees and 6 rupees altogether how much? 106 rupees. So 106 rupees means the total amount you should pay for 100 rupees. So total, that ratio, when I apply that here, for 1,000, you will get the total amount. For 100 rupees, if you want to pay 106 rupees, for 1,000 rupees, what is the total amount you should pay? For 100 rupees, if the total amount is 106 rupees, for 1,000 rupees, how much you should pay? If you multiply with the same ratio again, you will get the total value for this at the end of 2 6 months. Okay. This is a theory part learned given under or is discussed under percentages lesson in grade 11. Okay, so you don't have time to go through the theory part. Just try to understand the method, then apply that in the question. Okay, it should be 1,123 rupees and 60 cents, right? Not 1,129. Right. The next part, question number 10. Find the value of AXP. This is a geometric question. I will do that here because I have the figure here now. Right. Listen. In a geometric question, first of all, try to identify what is our ultimate goal. Here in this case, you just have to find the value of AXP angle, which means they're talking about this. This is the angle that you have to find. And there are some data given in the question. Okay, some students may not be able to identify directly, but it is easy to identify. Why? Here, P is the midpoint. I'm saying that P is the midpoint of AB. Why? AP side is equals to PB side. Same notation used to denote that AP side and PB side, which means those two sides are equal. Those two straight line segments are equal. If AP equals to PB straight line segment means this P must be the midpoint of this AB. Similarly, Q must be the midpoint of this AC, which means in this big ABC triangle, P midpoint and Q midpoints are joined. So this PQ straight line segment, according to midpoint theorem, must be parallel to the third side BC. What is midpoint theorem? The straight line joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle. Listen carefully. What is midpoint theorem? The straight line segment joining two midpoints of a midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and exactly half of the length of the third side, which means PQ according to midpoint theorem, PQ parallel to BC. At the same time, PQ is exactly half of BC. PQ is exactly half of BC. Keep that idea in your mind. All right, listen carefully. So the second property I don't need. I need this parallel property only. If this PQ and BC are parallel according to midpoint theorem, I can write PQ is parallel to BC according to midpoint theorem. You don't have to write the midpoint theorem. You just state the name. That's enough. According to midpoint theorem, PQ is parallel to BC. So if those two straight line segments are parallel here, this is AQ, and here we have BC, and here we have PQ. What can you tell about this angle and this angle if these two are parallel? What is it? Corresponding angles. So if this is 85, this one should be 85. So this angle is equals to 85 degrees. So if you consider this AXQ triangle, if you consider AXQ triangle, you can see here, this is AXQ triangle. Sorry. This is AXQ triangle, and this side is produced till P, and this is the angle we need, AXP. This angle's value is given 15, this angle value is given 85. So this angle we can calculate. What is it? Exterior angle. Exterior angle for triangle is equals to the sum of interior opposite angles. So AXP angle, our target AXP angle is equals to the sum of interior opposite angle 15 degrees plus 85 degrees, which is equals to 100 degrees. 100 degrees. Done. 100 degrees. Right. So we are done with the first 10 short questions. We have 5 more short questions to do. Before we move to that part, if you have anything to ask, quickly ask me. If you are clear with that, if you are understood, if you are 100% confident with the things that we discussed so far, quickly confirm me through the chat box. Just drop Y in the chat box if you are understood, guys. If you can send me the message through the chat box, please send that to me. Your responses are highly appreciated, guys. Please respond. Based on your responses only, I can understand if whether I have to speed up or I have to maintain a slow pace. I can decide based on your responses only. So for only few students, what about the others? Respond me, guys, please. Quickly through the chat box. Just drop Y in the chat box. Select my name and sender. Select my name and send. Sir, do we want to mention the reason for the answer? You better mention. Okay, since these are short questions, they are not going to look into that very deeply, but it's better because if the paper is easy, they might check that. If the paper is too easy for you, I mean, if the paper is too easy, they might make the marking stuff. In that case, they might check for the reason. So you better write it. Right. So here, select the correct statement out of the given and mark tick in front of it. If the statements are correct, only you have to mark tick. If the statements are incorrect, you don't have to do anything. Okay, don't put cross marks or anything. Huh? Just leave it blank. If it is correct, just put tick mark. So here we can see there's an ABC triangle, and in this ABC triangle, we have 4x, x, and 80 degrees angles. First of all, I will do a little bit of a calculation here. 80 degrees plus x degrees plus 4x degrees. What I'm taking? Sum of interior angles of this triangle. Sum of interior angles of a triangle will add up to 180 degrees. If you simplify this, you will get the value of x. X is equals to 20 degrees. Don't waste your time to do the simplification, guys. Quickly do it. So x is equals to 20 degrees. This one is 20 degrees then. So 4 times x will be 4 times 20 degrees, which is 80. We can see this A angle is 80, C angle is 80, which means This is an isosceles triangle. According to what theorem? In isosceles triangles theorem, in a triangle, if two angles are equal, the sides opposite to the equal angles are also equal, which means the side in front of A and side in front of C are equal. All right. Now the first statement, ABC is an acute angle triangle. If it is an acute angle triangle, yes, it is true. Why? We can see all three angles are less than 90 degrees. So definitely it's an acute angle triangle. The first statement is true. What is the second statement? AB equals to BC. Yes, we can see because this one is 80, this one is 80. No? So definitely AB equals to BC. That one is also true. The angle bisector of B of the triangle ABC goes through the midpoint of the side AC. Angle bisector of this angle, if you draw the angle bisector of this angle, they're saying that one angle bisector. Angle bisector means the straight line segment which bisects this angle. Divide that angle into two equal parts. They're saying that angle bisector goes from across the midpoint of this AC side. That is true, no? Why is it? Why is it true? If you recall the theorems in triangles lesson number 2, theorems related to isosceles triangles. Let's say this is an isosceles triangle ABC and AB side is equal to BC side. This special vertex called apex. From apex, if you draw a straight line segment to the midpoint of the opposite side. From the apex, if you draw a straight line segment to the midpoint of the opposite side, it is perpendicular to that opposite side. At the same time, it will bisect this apex angle. Bisect means divides into two equal parts. In other words, we can say if you draw the bisector of the apex angle, it will go across the midpoint of opposite side. That's a theorem. So according to that theorem, this one is true. So all three statements are true. What is the theorems used in this question? All theorems related to isosceles triangle, grade 10. Okay, grade 10 triangles, lesson number 2. So go through that lesson. If you, don't go through the lesson from the very beginning. Just do some questions related to those theorems if you can't remember those things. Okay, right. Question number 12. All right. ABCD is a parallelogram and CPDQ is the rhombus. Listen, now. This one is very important. This data is very, very, very important. Rhombus is a special type of a parallelogram. Okay. Rhombus is a special type of a parallelogram. Why? While it is being a parallelogram, all four sides of the rhombus are equal. All four sides of the rhombus are equal. Now they're saying CPD angle is 140 and DAB angle, this one is equals to 55 degrees. Find the value of BCQ. BCQ means this angle. They want us to find the value of this BCQ angle. Now we know that in a parallelogram, if you take this ABCD parallelogram, in a parallelogram, opposite sides are equal. Therefore, if this is 55 degrees, this entire angle of this ABCD parallelogram is equals to 55, which means this big angle is equals to 55 degrees. 55 degrees. And if you take this rhombus, listen now, if you take this rhombus, what is it? DPCQ or a CPDQ. If you take the CPDQ rhombus again, it is also a type of a parallelogram. If it is a parallelogram, definitely the opposite angles are equal. So this one should be 140. This one should be 140. If opposite angles are equal, and you can see QDC, okay, and you can see this QDC triangle. Take this QDC triangle. It is an isosceles triangle, right? It is an isosceles triangle. If you consider this DQC triangle, in that isosceles triangle, listen carefully. If I take this angle as x, this angle is also equals to x. Why? DQ side is equals to QC side. I'm taking this angle as x, therefore this angle must be x. This is small angle. Huh? I'm talking about this small angle. So 140 plus x will add up to 180. If you simplify, x is equals to 20, which means this angle is equals to 20. We know this entire big angle is equals to 55. This small portion is 20. So what is this BQC angle? From 55, if you subtract this 20, you can get this small angle's value, which is BQC, our target. Therefore, PQC angle is equals to 55 degrees minus 20 degrees, which is equals to 35 degrees. That's enough. That's it. Good. I can see correct answer in the chat box. And I have some incorrect answers also. Okay. Farha, your answer, you found the place where you made the mistake. Identified it. You send me the correct answer, no? Good. It's not BQC, it's BCQ, no? It's BCQ, not BQC, yeah? It's BCQ. Right. Question number 13. Some students think that this is the center of the circle, Kiela. No, that is not mentioned anywhere, no. So how you can consider that as the center of the circle? Okay. Just because it's definitely in the picture also, it doesn't look like the center. If it is not, if it doesn't look like the center, and in the question also they didn't mention that A is the center or anything. So this is not the center. They are directly saying the figure shows PQ and RS codes. This is PQ code and RS code. So those two codes intersect at point A. Those two codes intersect at point A. So this is the angle between those two straight line segments. They're saying PSR angle is 30. They want us to find the value of SRQ, which means this angle. They want us to find the value of SRQ, which means this angle. We know that SRQ angle and SPQ angle are on the same segment. From this XQ minor arc, SRQ and SPQ angles are subtended on the same segment of the circle. Same sector of the circle. So I can write SRQ angle is equals to SPQ. Why? Angles on the same segment. Angles on the same segment. Same sector. So I can take this triangle here, SPQ triangle. Listen carefully. SPA triangle. This is S, this is P, this is A, and this PA side produced till Q. And here we have 75 degrees angle. This angle is 30. We can calculate the value of this SPA. So I can write SPA plus this 30 degrees will add up to the value of exterior angle 75. Exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. So SPA angle is equals to 45. Therefore, SPQ, our target, is equals to 45 degrees. Why? SPA is equals to XPQ. You just have to use the same theorem. Only thing is you should understand that, you should be able to see that these two angles on the same segment or the same sector of the circle. Right. Okay. So these are short questions, guys. Don't make yourself complex. Okay. Usually when teaching, for short questions only, it will take much time, because through short questions only we are able to revise you the theorems, theories, and all. So through these are structured essay and essay questions, we don't have time to revise the theory part. So usually when teachers explaining for structured essay and essay paper, compared to the short questions, it will take less time. Okay, so we have only 2 more short questions. After that, we will be moving to structured essay part. We have 2 structured essay questions. You have, in your main oral paper, there will be 5 structured essay questions. I have selected only 2 structured essay questions, guys, because we have only limited duration. No? So we have I have to cover the maximum that I can, and important questions that I can cover within these 2 hours I have selected. Okay, right. Listen. According to the given figure, find the value of PAC. Right. So always remember, if it is a geometric question, try to find the target, identify the target. Here, BAC angle means they're talking about this. Again, okay, geometric questions, they can trick you by making the figure complex. If you have an eye, if you have an eye where you can remove unnecessary parts from the figure, so you can easily identify. Actually, this DC straight line segment is not needed. This DC straight line segment is not needed to solve this question. If you remove this DC straight line segment and see, this angle and this angle, both of them substitute on the same sector. The same theorems used in question number 13, I'm going to use that in question number 14. In your main oral paper also, it's like that. Every year they will give you the same theorem, only the picture will be different. Here, this one is 50. Why? Angles on the same segment. If you take this triangle, 50 degrees plus CAB angle or as BAC angle is equals to this exterior angle. Why? If you take this triangle, exterior angle is equal to the sum of interior opposite angles. 50 plus this BAC, our target. So BAC angle is equals to 60 degrees. Same theorem. Same theorem. So that's why, students, I suggest you all to do the past papers again and again instead of doing very complex model papers nowadays. If you do very complex model papers, there are 2 things happening. Okay, it won't help you that much for your O-level exam. Very complex, very hard model papers. And the other thing is, if you do very hard model papers, in case if you can't solve the question properly and if you get less marks for the very hard model paper, then what will happen? You will fed up and you will give up the exam. So you don't have to go through those very hard model papers. Just go through the, just do some past papers from 2018 to 2021. Do those 4 past papers, and before you go to the exam, not day before the exam. Okay, day before the exam, just go through some theory parts and do it. Okay. So you have to do the past papers 2018 to 2021. So it will help you all to understand the pattern of the questions. Okay, understand the pattern of the questions, right? So you don't have time to do all the past papers from 2016 or 2011. You don't have time to do those past papers, guys. You have to do past papers from 2018. So it's better if you start with 2018. Okay. And please go through the marking scheme. You can download marking scheme from the website. I think 2021 marking scheme is not available yet, but 2018, 19, and 20 marking schemes are there. So go through those marking schemes and understand how they have allocated marks for a short question, structured essay, and essay questions. For steps, how they have allocated marks, try to learn them. So accordingly, practice answer writing. Okay, that's how you have to do it. Right. Question number 15. The radius of the circle with center capital O is 7 centimeters. Show the construction as a rough sketch to identify the location of a point which is 7 centimeters away from point O. Guys, if the radius is 7 centimeters, okay, radius is 7 centimeters, and they are talking about a point which is 7 centimeters away from O, which means that definitely that point must be on this circle. We don't know where it is. To find the exact point, they have given another data. What is it? That point must be equidistant from PO and QO. Now here's the theory part. Locus of the points, which is in equal distance from 2 points. Locus of the points, which is in equal distance from 2 points. 2 points, if it is 2 points, will be perpendicular bisector of that straight line segment. Perpendicular bisector, okay? Perpendicular bisector. Assume this is a perpendicular bisector. Assume this one as a perpendicular bisector. Perpendicular bisector. This is the locus of the points, which is equal distance from 2 points. If you want to find the locus of the points, which is equal distance from 2 straight line segments, 2 straight lines, that locus will be the angle, this angle's bisector. Bisector. Bisector means the straight line segment divides an angle into two equal angle bisector. So this one will be that locus. Now here they are talking about the locus of the points, which is in equal distance from PQ and QO, which means you have to draw the angle bisector of this, draw the angular bisector. You don't have to construct it, you just have to draw the rough sketch. Right? This angle's bisector. So here's the point R that we need to identify. 7 centimeters from center O, so it is on the circumference of the circle, and equal distance from PO and QO. Definitely, it should be on that angular bisector. So this is the point, capital R, that we have to identify. Okay, all right, great, happy. Now we are done with first 15 short questions. My priority was to give you an understanding on how to solve algebra questions, and then mainly I focused on geometry, right? So I will move to the structured essay part. Before I move to the structured essay part, if you all are clear with this thing, quickly confirm me through the chat box. If you have any doubts, you can ask me quickly before I move to the next structured essay part, guys. I'll give you 1 minute. If you have anything, you can ask me. If you understood, confirm me through the chat box quickly as soon as possible, please. Guys, you have only around 40 to 50 minutes. So try to stay and complete this work and go, because going through the recordings is not effective these days because you have 8 more subjects to complete now. Okay, you have 8 more subjects to complete. Within with those things, you won't be able to go through the recordings and complete these works. Recordings are just a medicine, not to go through the whole 2 hours recording. You can't do that because you don't have time to do that. Okay, get the maximum from the session. When you redo this paper, if you come across any doubts, you can go through the recording. Okay, if you come across any doubt only, you can do that. Otherwise, keeping this recording as a backup without listening in the session and without doing any work in the session, and if you're keeping this recording as a tool to refer, if you're keeping this recording to refer that recording, entire recording, then you don't have time to do that. Okay, so please don't do that work. All right, so fractions, listen carefully. Stop working and listen carefully. I'm going to show you a pattern. Okay, this is not the exact pattern that you will get the fractions question in our O-level paper, but they will use this model to give you a question in main O-level paper. A fractions, all fractions question basically based on this model. Basically based on this model. Okay, the general model. Sometimes they might 90%, 80 to 90% of the fractions questions are in this model. Okay, there are some exceptional fractions questions also, which is going out of this model, but 80 to 90% of the questions are having this fraction, this model that I'm going to give you. Usually a fractions question is, they will start with by introducing their total unit. If you have experience in doing past papers and all, you might have seen something like this. There's a person called Piallo, Amalo, Sudanto, some person. Okay, Jnanapala, Somapala. That person is having a land. That land will be the total. From the land, he's giving some amount to his wife, son, daughter, donated, or whatever it is. They can create a scenario using that plot of land. Using that land plot. And then there might be some questions related to this. Total number of books in a library, number of pages in a book, total number of pages in a book, that can be a total unit. Or as the salary received by salary gained by or is earned by a person Okay, total salary earned by a person, total amount collected to go for a trip. Okay, or as the total amount of clothing material they bought to sew some shirts or shorts. So that will be the total unit. In this case, the total unit is what? Here, from a stock of clothing materials. Stock of clothing materials. This will be the total unit. The total unit is explained already. And then what they will give you from this total unit, from the total unit used fraction they will give you a used fraction. From the total unit they will give you the used fraction. Here 3/7 was used from what? From the total unit. So used fraction they will give you, and then they will develop the question further from the remaining, from the remainder. From the remainder they will use some fraction, and then from the final remainder they will develop the question. Final remainder they will develop the question further. So the remaining parts based on I can't give you an exact thing because it's very different from question to question. So this is the basic thing. Total unit they will introduce. First of all, they will give you a fraction used from the total unit. Then they will tell you to calculate the remainder. From remainder, they will give you they will use some fraction, some amount of they will give you some amount of fraction that is used here, and then they will give the final remainder. Sometimes they will give you the final remainder's real value. If it is related to clothing material, they will tell you the final remainder, or as final remaining clothing material length is equals to 8 meters, 10 meters. So using that, you should be able to calculate the total length of the clothing material, the total length of the total unit. So that will be that's how they will develop the question in fractions. So any question, any fractions question can be easily simplified if you have a proper plot. If you draw a proper diagram for yourself. While you're reading, summarize it. While you're reading the question, try to summarize it. Here we have from a stock of clothing materials. Let's say this is the stock of clothing materials. Here, you just draw a rectangle. That's it. You don't have to draw the real situation. You can't draw any clothing material. No, that's not logical also. Just draw a rectangle. Assume this is our total unit. Usually in fractions, the total unit considered as one. Okay. Usually in fractions, the total unit considered as 1. Okay, that's the method. From this total unit, what they are saying, 3/7. What is the meaning of this? If the total unit divided into 7 equal parts, 3 parts used to sew shirts, which means the total material, if it is divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 equal parts, 3 parts were used. 3/7 was used to sew shirts. So from this diagram itself, you can see what is the remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4/7 is remaining. So this will help you to evaluate your final answer. Listen. Right. Here, first question is that one only. What fraction of the stock is remaining after sewing shirts? We know that is 4/7. You can't directly write it. So when you're writing answers, you have to write answers in a way that they can allocate marks to you. From the total unit, I told you total unit considered as 1 in fractions. I used means subtract 3/7 to sew shirts. I used, which means remaining remaining value will be given from this expression. So this is equals to, listen, why we are taking this as 1? Because it's easy to convert, right? Here, if the denominator is 7 here, I can write this 1 as 7/7. So 7/7 minus 3/7, take a common denominator and simplify. Common denominator is 7, 7 minus 3 equals to 4. So if you write it in this way only, you will get full marks. They will allocate 1 mark for this. Right? Okay. So the next question, 1/4 of the remaining. Here I told you the second part of the plot. they will give you some amount of used fraction. In this case, it's 3/7 used to sew shirts. And then they will tell you to calculate the remaining. From the remaining, they will use some amount. Here, they wanted us to calculate the remaining. Done. The first part of the plot is done. Then from the remaining, they have used something. 1/4 of the remaining used to sew shirts. 1/4 here. 1/4 of the remaining, which means 1/4 of what? Remaining is 4/7. This is the mathematical expression. So second question here. What fraction of the whole stock used to sew shorts? 1/4 of the remaining used to sew shorts. Here, 1/4. You don't have to write sentences because this is a structured essay paper. 1/4 of the shorts. 1/4 of the remaining. Of means what? Multiplication. Directly a multiplication. So this one will give you 1/7, which means from the entire stock, 1/7 portion used to sew shorts. That's what is what's given here. That's it. Third question. What fraction of the whole stock is remaining after sewing the shirts and shorts? What fraction of the whole stock is remaining after sewing the shirts and shorts? What fraction of the whole stock is remaining after sewing the shirts and shorts? Listen, the whole stock is referred to as 1 in fractions. From this, they use 3/7 fraction to sew shirts, for 1/7 of the fraction to sew shorts. If I subtract those values, I will get the remaining. So this is the one they wanted us to calculate. 1 can be written as 7/7. This step is not compulsory. 3/7 minus 1/7. Simplify, you will get final answer 3/7. So this is a fraction remaining after sewing shirts and shorts. Right. If the remaining stock, now question number 4, next part of the plot. If the remaining stock of material is 6 meters, can you remember? From the they will tell you to calculate the final remaining. The final remaining's real value they will give you. So the final remaining as a fraction is 3/7. Question number 4. 3/7 of the fraction is corresponding to 6 meters. Final remaining is equals to 6 meters. By this numerator, which is 3, equals to 2 meters, which means if you divide the entire stock of clothes into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you divide that into 7 equal parts, one portion is equals to 1/7, and that's real value is 2 meters. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 such portions. Therefore, total length will be, we have 2 meters length in one portion. We have 7 such portions. So 2 meters multiplied by 7, which will give you 14 meters. 40 meters. This is the total length. So that's what they wanted us to calculate in fourth question. A 10 marks question. No? Question number 5 is it's a Baba question. No? Here, if 1 meter of the material costs 200 rupees, scholarship gana. Okay. If 1 toffee is equals to 2 rupees, what's the price of 10 toffees? And the madri or kanak. Here, if 1 meter of the material costs 200 rupees, find the value of the stock clothing material worked. We have 14 meters in total. So 1 meter is your total price. You don't have to write the sentence for that. Total price you have to calculate. 1 meter is equals to 200 rupees and you have 14 such meters. So this will give you 2 into 14 equals to 28, 2,800 rupees. 2,800 rupees. So it's a one structured essay question. I told you. Short, to explain short questions only, it will take time. For structured essay and essay, for structured essay, it won't take much time. For essay, also product because we have to discuss some important things in that. Hope you all are clear with that. Shall we move to the next question, guys? What's your opinion? Quickly. Respond me. What is the answer for 3? 3 means this one. No? I think I calculated that. No? Here. 3/7. using without finding the answer for 3, we cannot do question number 4. Shall we move to the next question, guys? Everyone? Right, done. So we'll move to the next part. Listen. They can give you a question. Definitely there will be a fractions question in your main O-level paper, okay? And definitely there will be a question from data representation and frequency distribution. If it is purely from data representation, they might give you pie charts. If they are combining with frequency distributions, then they can combine pie charts with histograms or as pie charts with cumulative frequency curves. Okay. All right. This is not hard. This is not hard. Listen. The following incomplete table and incomplete histogram is drawn to represent the number of students who completed math test within the first 1 hour. The marks were given out of 25. Right. So this is something related to math marks of some set of students. Right. The first question is to complete the table using the histogram. So we can see clearly, we can see this class size is equals to this class size here. Class size is 5, class size is 5, class size is 5, class size is 10. Only last class's size is different from the others. So general class size is 5. So you can directly take these values and write it here. 0 to 5, number of students is 5. 5 to 10, number of students is 10. That's it. First question is done. Complete the histogram using the table. First 2 parts are done, no? It's already done. 10 to 15. 10 to 15 class interval, we have 20 students. So you have to draw it like this. Okay, use your ruler to draw that. I'm drawing using my free hand. You can't do that. You have to use the ruler. Okay, I'll use the shapes to draw that, guys. All right. Here we have the margin 10. Sorry, 20. Now the next one is 15 to 25. 15 to 25. Can you see it's actually 5 gap, double the previous classes. Double the size of previous classes. If the class size is doubled, please divide the frequency by 2. If it is double, divided by 2. If it is triple, divided by 3. If it is multiplied by, if it is 4 times the normal class size, then divided by 4. Here, in this case, all other classes are classes size is equals to 5. In this case, it's 10. So you have to multiply. It is already double. So you have to divide the frequency by 2. So 20 divided by 2 equals to 10. So 10 is the size, but class interval you should take from what? 25 to, sorry, 15 to 25. So this is the final answer. This is how you have to draw that. Okay, right. We are done with the histogram. Complete the histogram using the table. Done. With the help of histogram, draw the frequency polygon. Now they want us to draw the frequency polygon. How to draw the frequency polygon? Listen, if you want to draw the frequency polygon, from this side, take a space on negative side. Do not mark negative values. Just take the size. That's enough. Okay. Now, here, take a similar gap on the other side. Here, same gap from the next side, left-hand side. Don't mark -5. Just keep it. Okay. Now take the midpoint of each and every. Now take the midpoint of each and every classes. Starting from this, take the midpoint of this, take the midpoint of this bar, take the midpoint of this bar, take the midpoint of this bar. Here, you can see it's double the other classes. Then you have to take the divide into 2 parts like this. Don't draw that. Just from taking your ruler, See that. Take the middle point of this section, take the middle point of this section, take the midpoint of this section. Now you just have to join those join those points. Use your ruler to draw that. That is not a curve. Those are just straight line segments. It's not a curve. Those are just straight line segments. Since I'm using my free hand, I won't be able to draw a perfect figure. So use your ruler to draw straight line segments. So those are straight line segments, not curves. This is how you have to draw the frequency polygon. This is what we call frequency polygon. Right. The next question. They're saying, when they did an audit on the survey, they found that some students' data was missing while preparing the table. So when they prepared this table, there is a fault, there's a mistake. Okay, when they prepare this table, there was a mistake. We don't know what is that mistake, and they have explained that mistake here. They found that some student data was missing while preparing the table. Those missing students should be sorted under 0 to 5, which means the missed students must be in this class interval, which means it's not 5, it's a value which is greater than 5. All right. After sorting that issue, they drew a pie chart. They draw a pie chart. They didn't draw the histogram, or they didn't modify this. They separately created a pie chart. Right. So in this pie chart, there are some corrections given, guys. Correction: 0 to 5 angle at the center is equals to 60 degrees. And 15 to 25 is 120 degrees. They have given that data, then use that data. According to the pie chart, find the total number of students who joined the math workshop. Total number of students joined the math workshop. So the mistake is in this part only. Now this modified pie chart will give you the real data. Okay. However, the students who participate, student who sorted under this 15 to 25 category, students who were sorted under 15 to 25 category, which means these 20 students, that data is correct. They are saying the mistake was in 0 to 5 class interval. All the other class intervals are okay. So this pie chart, this section has 20 students, no issues with that. Which means from 120 degrees, they denoted 20 students. They're talking about total number of students. Total number of students means the entire pie chart. Listen carefully. In entire pie chart, you have 360 degrees. So from 120 degrees, if you all are denoting 20 students, from 360 degrees, how many students are there? So simplify. 120 divided by 120 equals to 1, 360 divided by 120 equals to 3, 20 to 3 equals to 60. So there are 60 students in total. There are 60 students in total. Right, listen. Find the number of students who did not appear while preparing the table. When they prepared this table, how many students were there? 20, 40, 50, and 55. Totally 55 students. But the real analysis, from the analysis you did, the real value is, guys, 60, which means the difference is what? 5 students. So 60 students is the real value. Earlier we had 55 students. So 5 students' details were missing when they preparing the table. 5 students did not appear when they preparing the table. So this is the answer. And this one is 2000, I can't remember the year, a Western Province final exam paper. I mean, third term examination paper, they have given this question. Okay, it's a model paper they have given for the term exam. Right. Okay, we can move to the essay part. If you quickly confirm me through the chat box. I will start with this progressions question, and then I will move to the graphs part. Minus, it is not wrong for high. Actually, we don't do that. Okay, marking -5 is not wrong, but don't do that, because 0 to -5, we don't denote any class intervals like that. No, always remember class intervals starts with 0. No, a positive values only we are taking. So marking -5 doesn't make any sense. Okay, Right. Okay. So before I move to this essay question, if possible, not if possible, quickly confirm me through the chat box and send your feedback regarding the things that we discussed so far. Your honest feedbacks, guys. Usually in any seminar, in any class, at the before I end the session, I usually take the feedback. So if you feel that you benefited from this, feel free to send your feedback in the chat box, please, guys. I will start this question in 30 seconds. I'll give you 30 to 45 seconds. Quickly send me your feedbacks, guys. Your honest feedbacks. If there is anything that we have to improve, tell. If you feel that is good, tell. So good, bad, everything includes in feedback. Quickly, I'm waiting for your responses. I'll give you just 30 seconds, 30, 45 seconds. Then we'll start this progressions question. And this progressions question, part B, is super important. So don't lose the focus in that. Part A is normal. It's simple, but part B is important. In part B, there's an important idea that I have to give you. All right. Thank you for your feedbacks, guys. So we'll move to this part. Right. Progressions. Definitely you will get a progressions question, guys. And I can't say they will give you only from arithmetic progressions, only from geometry progressions, TLA. I can't say, because they might give you the question mixing both progressions like this. A few parts from arithmetic, few parts from geometry, like that they can give you. Listen. So if you can't remember the formulas related to progressions, you can go through the last page of the tute. Okay, in last pages, I have included the formulas here. Okay, arithmetic progression formulas, geometric progression formulas are there. So if you want, you can refer to that later. Now listen carefully. We'll start with second question. Listen very carefully. Don't lose the focus. Focus. Okay, you were able to stay focused from 9 a.m. till now. You were able to stay very focused in the session. So do not lose that focus. Okay, don't give up the game. You have only few more minutes. Listen to this very carefully. Okay, right. There are 153 countries have represented the contestants for the Miss World competition. For the Miss World competition, 153 countries have represented contestants. So generally, from one country, one person, which means for this Miss World competition, there are 153 participants. That's the implicit idea of this. 10 contestants will be eliminated from each round. From each round, they will eliminate 10 contestants, which means in the first round, all 153 contestants will be there. The second round, 10 eliminated means subtract 10, 143. Again, 133. Again, 123. Like that goes on. This is the progression. Right. 3 contestants will be selected for the first, second, and third places at the final round. So what is the meaning of that? At the end of the progression, the term should be 3. Final round means final term. First round, first term. Second round, second term. Third round, third term. Fourth round, fourth term. Fifth round, fifth term. Final round, final term. Final round, we have 3 contestants, which means 3. That's it. Identify the progression. Identifying the progression is a practical thing. Next. Then what they are saying, part A, write the contestants in the first 5 rounds as a number sequence, which means this is what they're expecting. Okay, this is what they're expecting from you. First question, write the contestant in first 5 rounds. First 5 rounds, 153, 143, 133, 123, and then 113, and it goes on. They wanted us to write it as a sequence. This is the answer. Second question. Sorry. Before we move to the second question, there's another part. Now they want us to and explain what kind of a progression is that. What kind of a progression means in your syllabus you have only two progressions. It should be definitely one of them. No, it can be an arithmetic progression, it can be a geometric progression. We can clearly see it has a common difference. If it is having a common difference, definitely it's a arithmetic progression. If it is geometric progression, you have a common ratio. If it is an arithmetic progression, definitely it has a common difference. So we have to prove that, we have to explain that, how to do it. Take the difference between two consecutive numbers. If you select 143, subtract the previous one, which is 153. Answer will be minus 10. If you take another randomly select two consecutive numbers, 123 and 133, 123 minus the previous one, 133, equals to minus 10. You can write, they want us to explain. No, you don't have to write paragraphs, just explain concisely like this. Therefore, instead of word therefore, you can keep these three dots. The progression has, therefore the progression has a common difference. Therefore, we can say this is an arithmetic progression. This is an arithmetic progression. This is how you have to write the answer. When you're writing an answer, the person who checks your answers, he must feel it. Okay, don't just write polling this is an arithmetic progression. Okay. Right. So some students asking for the tute. Guys, you can drop a WhatsApp message to the one of the coordinates. I mean, you can drop a message to this host if possible. Drop a message and they will give you a number, I guess, to join, to drop a WhatsApp message. So join that WhatsApp group. In that WhatsApp group, you can, from that through that group, you can get the tute. Okay, if anyone don't have the tute, you can get the tute in that way, or as from your friends, you can get the tute. Okay, you can get the tute. If anyone can contact me, then I also can send you the tute. Okay, right. So this is how you have to prove it. The next question, guys, I think participants can annotate on the screen. So I recommend, by mistake, if your hands touch that annotation thing, don't try to play around with that, because if you do that, it will disturb others visual also. Okay, so don't do any annotation on the screen. Nah? Right. Second question, according to the progression, which round will be considered as the final round? We don't know which round will be the final round. Here, the first round, 153 participants, second round, second term, third round, third term, fourth round, fourth term, last round, last term. Last round, last term. So last round, we have 3 contestants. Let's say this is the nth round, which means nth term. So nth term of an arithmetic progression can be found using the formula what? Tn equals, I'm going to use the formula using Tn equals a plus n minus 1 into d. The last term is 3 equals to first term is 153 plus n minus 1. N means the last term's position, or as which round is that. That's what we want to calculate. So it is n minus 1 into d is the common difference, minus 10. Simplify this. You will get, I will simplify like this. 3 equals to 153 plus n into minus 10 will give you minus 10n. Minus into minus equals to plus, you will get plus 10. So you have totally 163 here, minus 10n. If you take it to the other side, you can plus 10n. This is equals to 163 minus 3, which is 160. So n is equals to 16, which means final round, I will write it like this. 16th round will be the final round. Okay, so that's how you have to do it. All right. So this question, arithmetic progression is not hard. Geometric progression is also not hard, but you have to think carefully. Listen, what is a geometric progression? Let's say you have 2 and you have 4 and 8 and 16. What is this? The next terms you are taking by multiplying the previous term by 2, which means the next terms is actually a product of the previous term and the common ratio. Product of the previous term and the common ratio. If I take the first term of an arithmetic progression, geometric progression as A and common ratio as R, how to write the progression? First term will be A, second term will be A into this common ratio AR. Third term will be this second term into the common ratio AR into R, AR square. Then AR cube, then AR 4, and so on. This is the progression. So to solve the next part, I'm going to consider this general progression. No issues with that. Okay, right. Now what they're saying, the sum of second and fourth terms of a geometric progression. Now I will use a different color. Listen, they're saying sum of second and fourth terms. According to our notation, the second term is AR and fourth term is AR cube. Sum of second and third terms, fourth terms is equals to 30. 30. Can you see? From AR and AR cube, I can take AR term as a common factor. If I take AR outside, 1 plus R square is remaining inside the bracket. This is equals to 30. I'm going to take this as the first equation. Now the second one. And third term is equals to 12. Third term is equals to 12. Third term is what? AR square. So third term is equals to 12. This is my second equation. Okay. This is my second equation. I want to find the common ratio value, guys. So I'm going to remove this A. To remove that A, you can divide the first equation by second equation. First equation is what? AR into 1 plus R squared. AR into 1 plus R square divided by AR square. That is the second equation. This is equals to 30 divided by 12. Can you see this first term? We can cancel it. Multiply R plus R. Sorry, I think correct, right? Yeah, here this R and this R square I can cancel. No, R and from this R square I can cancel one R. So this simply you will get a quadratic equation from R. Here in the numerator we have 1 plus R square. Okay, this one I can multiply with this 12. I'm doing the cross multiplication. Here 30 into R. Remove the brackets. You will get 12R square plus 12 is equals to 30R. Take this 30R to the other side. You will get, before I do that, guys, I can simplify this 12 and 30, no? If you can simplify, then simplify it and keep it in the simplest format. Here I can see 12 divided by 3 equals to 4. 30 divided by 3 equals to 10. Again, you can divide it by 2 also, no? 4 divided by 2 equals to 2. 10 divided by 2 equals to 5. So do the cross multiplication. 2 times 1 plus R square is equals to 5 times R. Remove the brackets. You will get 2R square plus 2 is equals to 5R. Take this plus 5 to the other side. 2R square minus 5R plus 2 is equals to 0. Now you have a quadratic expression of R. Factorize it. Factorize it. Guys, 2R square. I'm writing the same expression here. 5R plus 2. This equals to 0. Factorize it and give me the answers, guys. What you are getting? What you are getting? 2r minus 1 and r minus 2 equals to 0. Hope these are the factors, correct, right? I am waiting for your responses. And one student is saying, ma'am, I didn't get you. I'm not ma'am. I'm Arman Shalik, and I'm a man. So fine. So what part you didn't get? Can you tell me? Can you just type and quickly tell me so I can explain that part again? I can't read your name. The equations. Okay, listen. According to the given data, listen carefully. If someone didn't understood, listen carefully. Here they are saying there's a geometric progression. What is the geometric progression? If the first term is A and common ratio is R, how to get the next terms in a geometric progression? If the common ratio is R, to obtain the next term, you should multiply this first term with R. So you will get AR. When you multiply this with again R, you will get the third term. AR into R will be AR square. Like that, AR cube. Like that, AR to the power 4. And you can write many more terms. This is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. They're saying sum of second and fourth terms are sum of second and fourth term. Second term is AR in our case, second term is AR, fourth term is AR cube. So sum of these two is equals to what? 30 Lu. This is what they are saying. And take this AR outside as a common factor. If you take A and R from this one is remaining, not 0. If you take A and R outside, 1 is remaining from this. If you take A outside and R outside, from R cube means R into R square. If you take R outside, R square is remaining inside the bracket. This is equals to 30. So this is my first equation. From this one, okay, from this data, from this sentence, I derive this first equation. And then they are saying the third term is 12. In our case, the third term is AR square. So AR square, the third term is equals to 12. I'm directly writing. Okay. A and R are values that I introduced to the question. Okay. Clear? Clear? Okay, great. So when you factorize this quadratic equation, you will get factors like this. So 2r minus 1 equals to 0, O, r minus 2 equals to 0. If you simplify, you'll get the r's value, r equals to half O, r is equals to 2. And you see in the question, they have clearly mentioned that common ratio of the progression is a positive whole number. So we have two positive numbers, but only one value is whole. Therefore, I can consider, therefore, common ratio is equals not half, ratio is equals to 2. Why? We can reject this value. Common ratio is 2. After identifying the common ratio, now our work is easy. Listen carefully. Now they are saying if K is a constant means a fixed value, show that the sum of n number of terms can be represented in the form of K times 2 to the power n minus 1. Forget about this final answer for a while. Forget about this final answer, guys. Here, forget about this. They're talking about the sum of any n terms, n number of terms. Sum of first n terms of an arithmetic progression can be calculated, geometric progression can be calculated using one of these formulas, sum of n terms. If you want, you can use this. If you want, you can use this. So I'm going to use the first formula using Sn, sum of n terms equals to A times r to the power n minus 1 divided by r minus 1. Sum of first n terms I want to take. So I can keep this Sn as the notation. Our first term, we don't know the real value, no? I have declared that as A, so keep it, no issues. For a while, keep it. I will explain how to exclude that kela, how remove that kela. Our first term is A. It is not given in the question. We introduced to the question. So the final answer cannot be in terms of A. So when it comes to final answer, we'll talk about it. For the moment, keep it in the way that we declared. First term into common ratio. R is common ratio to the power n. We identify that common ratio is 2. So 2 to the power n minus 1 divided by common ratio minus 1. Common ratio is 2, 2 minus 1. So this is equals to Sn equals to A times 2 to the power n minus 1. 2 minus 1 equals to what? 1. Anything divided by 1 is equals to that only. So I don't have to write this one here. It's not compulsory because anything divided by 1 equals to that person only. So can you see in our question, the final answer format is similar to this. Final answer format is similar to this. K times 2 to the power n minus 1. They're saying K times 2 to the power n minus 1. K is a value that we should decide. Can you see it's corresponding to the first term? So I can write K is corresponding to the first term of the progression. Therefore, sum of first n terms is K times 2n minus 1. K is a value that we decide. Writing this statement will give you one or two marks. Identifying that K is corresponding to the first term. K is the value given in the question. And they are saying it's just a constant. It's just a constant. They didn't explain or they didn't give you any idea about or is who is that constant. They didn't explain you. Okay, they didn't tell you, they didn't introduce you K. They're just saying it's a constant. They didn't introduce means we have to find it. Who is it? Who's that? And we can see by keeping our first term in the equation, if you simplify that, we can see our first term is actually their constant, which means by this constant, they're trying to explain or else they're trying to imply the first term of this progression is K. So for first term of the progression is given in the question at the end of the question only. We have to decide it. When you decided it, you have to write it. K is corresponding to the first term of the progression. The sum of first terms n terms is K times 2 to the power n minus 1. This is how you have to conclude it. So this question is important. Guys, recent days, there's a huge possibility that they can give you questions to think. Just because you know the formula, you won't be able to get the total marks. Okay, just because you know the formula, you can't take the total marks. If you want to go for a higher grade, a good grade, okay, you must learn how to think critically. Okay, think practically. Right. So now it's 11:04. It's time to wind up the session. Before we wind up the session, don't leave. Don't leave. Before we wind up the session, please send me your comments, feedbacks in the chat box, guys. The graphs, questions, answer, I will send it to you via WhatsApp. I mean, in our WhatsApp groups, in that our official WhatsApp group, I will circulate the answer. So you can go through that. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me. Right. So quickly confirm me through the chat box or send me your feedbacks about regarding the session, guys. The whole session, was it useful? Is there any bad things you can tell me? Is there any good things you can tell? Feedback means that your honest feedback, honest replies regarding the session. Quickly, students. I need individual responses, please. And you can send me the feedback via chat box. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Jazakumullah khairan for the Muslim Majlis of University of Sri Jayewardenepura for organizing this. And guys, you guys also should thank them, because nowadays, you know, wherever you turn your head, there's a final seminar, 3,000 rupees, 4,000 rupees seminar fee. Okay. So no, not everyone can afford that, right? So this is a great opportunity. Spread the word among your friends. I think some other uh, free seminars also going on under this program. So make sure to stay in that group so they will give you the further notifications in that group. Okay. Thank you very much for the organizing committee. And thank you very much for the students staying with me till the end of the session. Thank you very much for staying till the end of the session with me. And hope you all benefited from this session, right? I'm getting nice comments from you. And thank you very much for your comments, guys. All right. Okay. Let's wind up. Then I'm going to mute my mic. If you have anything, you can reach out to me via WhatsApp.